Where you are right now is absolutely perfect. There is no imperfect to you. You were built in love and light. There is no imperfect moment. The moment is absolute. So give yourself a break, understanding that you are exactly where you need to be. If you trust that the divine is guiding you, then you did not end up here by accident. You are being pushed to this moment alone. You are being guided. You are surrounded by your divine beings, holding you in this space because you are guided. We're all guided. There's no imperfect moment. For whatever reason, you're sitting across from this, so trust it and allow it to the energy to unfold within. There's nothing you have to do besides open up, trust one thing, and ride it all the way to the sun. It's not about jumping to each ray of light and try to grab them all. You only need one, but we get impatient about riding a single thread all the way there. We get impatient. We think we should be further along by now. And the thing is, we're perfect where we are right now. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Malani Meditation Podcast. I am your host, Malani. And today I'm here with Sergio, and we are talking about all things spiritual. When I like to generally focus around the spiritual heart and vibrational healing, diving deep into meditation, and really just kind of freeing ourselves from the cycles of our emotional body. And that's generally where these conversations lead. But I do not know where it's going to go. I do not know what he's going to ask me today or what we're going to talk or where it's going to be led. It's always fun to see how we get guided through this because it is guided. I am an interpreter for the divine is one way to describe myself. So anyways, introducing Sergio. How are you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing great. I'm really excited to be here and just open to kind of what we're going to talk about. I have no idea what we're going to talk about either, but I know that it's going to be divinely guided, and I don't even know what questions I'm going to ask. I'm just going to go with it when we go. So.
Okay, well, we're here. What is it that we want people to understand when we set out to do this podcast? What is it that we've been going over for years and experiencing for years through our process, this process that I've been actually guiding you through? And since I went through a process myself, I've been putting you through the ringer, and you've had many drastic changes and big experiences throughout it. So, what are some of the things that I guess you think that they should know about spiritual growth?
Well, I mean, that's a good question put on me. The truth is, I don't even know where to start, but I think maybe we should go into for me when all this really unlocked for me. And I'll go back a little bit about my journey a little bit. So I went to an ashram for about 6 years, and then there was a point where I left the ashram, and Malani said to me, "Hey, why don't we like meditate, you and me together?" And I'm super grateful for that because it really opened up all these things for me. And when we started to meditate in his basement, just me and him, he started to make this vibration. And I would say that's really when all these things really started to unlock for me in the sense of really high states of being would happen. And the vibration was just like this vibration that he almost channeled, or it went through him. And he's like, I don't know what this is, but it's changing me and it's like upgrading me in all these different ways. So I was like, all right, we're going to go with it. And what would happen is I would have these energetic purges, and almost it was like densities would start to unlock and like harmonize. and then I would hit these really high states of being. I really don't know how to describe these high states of being, but it was like these really advanced meditations that we would go really, 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 really deep, and then we would hit these divine states of being. And that happened for me for like 3 or 4 months, where I would go down in the basement, and it was almost like I didn't want to go sometimes because I knew I had to face these things. And I would be like, all right, we're just gonna go. But I had this perseverance where I would just go down there, and these vibrations would happen, and all these things starting to really unlock. So maybe you can talk a little bit about what the vibration is.
Well, what carried you is, yes, there is a sense of when the vibration, like I said, as an interpreter for the divine, it's not just language, it is vibration, it's frequency. It's I have this, I call myself sometimes a vibrational wellness coach. So it's able to see into vibration inside of people and be able to feel the unharmonized emotions, those stuck emotions, because they're on a lower density vibration versus the vibration that's passing through me is coming from a very divine state. And it's very powerful. And it's really what changed everything for me. My life has been a wonderful journey. I mean, of spirituality. I had connections very young age and experienced things off the charts throughout my life. But it's when this vibration started to happen, he's right. It started to happen, and I just went on it in my own journey, and then I pulled him in there and said, "Hey, you want to experience this? I mean, let's get ready for it. Let's just do something really powerful." And so we did it. But what kept them coming back is as the purging happens and as the vibration was allowed to not be personalized. Like if we say, like when sadness was coming out, if we didn't personalize it, if we didn't make it our own, say, "Oh, I'm sad. I don't know why I'm sad." Instead, just be with it, be with the feeling, and just allow it to harmonize and allow the vibration to rattle the body and just kind of bring it into the harmony of the higher vibration. So basically, we're introducing a high vibration through vocals because it's coming from somewhere really special. And that specialness is not only relayed through a vocal vibration, it's relayed through vibrational gaze. Like I do this thing that I guess we're calling it divine gaze, but I don't really know how to label it. Where the vibration will pass through my eyes and people will see visions of all kinds of things that I'll let you talk about because we've seen so many miracles that have passed through the gaze before. And it's like something, the energies, the vibration of whatever needs to come through will sit with me and gaze back. And it's perfect to whoever's looking at it. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't ever know.
I like to describe it as like you're you have a divine Rolodex. That's the best way I can do it. I mean, I can call it contacts, or you just have this when you sit in front of people. Um, it's like whatever needs to be called in will be called in. I've experienced my own experiences seeing it when you've done it with other people and including myself. I've seen Jesus, Buddha show up. I've seen people show up, deceased people from the other side. You know, my mom has showed up before, like from the other side. I've
Both
seen like
parents.
what's that? Both my
Both
parents.
parents.
Both parents have showed up from the other side, and um, uh, I mean, I've had some pretty crazy experiences, like just from my own family. But not only that, also like these deities have showed up, which is like hard to even describe when that happens. It's like you have to, it's like such a high state of being that comes in the room, and there's so much harmonization that happens that I mean, it's really hard to describe, but I've seen a lot of these beings come through. Hundreds of beings. I don't know how else to describe it, but it's hard to describe it in the words because it's like whatever is needed for that person will show up. So, like, I've seen it where Malani sitting in front of somebody, their daughter comes through. and the whole room feels her daughter. And it was like all this, all this divine energy came through in the room, and everybody felt it. And everybody started to cry, and the mother was obviously felt the daughter come through, and it was like such a huge blessing when that happened, and everybody got to feel it.
So
And
that's
that's
one
one
example.
out of hundreds,
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
one example because she came through, and I knew when the that particular incident, when she walked into the room, because this was a group event that I was leading, and when she walked into the room, I never met her, and I knew her. I knew exactly. I fixated on her, and I knew this lady is about to have a wonderful experience. I had no idea what, but there was definitely a presence with me that was connected to her. And of course, we do a random call up, and we don't know who's going to be called. It's just we have a divine way of letting it. The what's spiritually best is what I like to say. I don't try to call anybody up. I don't do anything. I'm not trying to be a mediumship. I'm not trying to say, let me. So if everybody comes in here and say, can you go speak to my this and that? I'm not. I don't like to work that way. I like to say, ask for what's spiritually best. Because to me, it's all about spiritual healing. It's vibrational healing, so that we can pull forth our own gifts, and we can connect ourselves. To me, it's more important for the others to feel their own power, their own truth, and that's what it's about. So I don't need. I mean, I personally would rather see people go through the experience and enhance what they already have, because everybody's got gifts, and and we try to label those gifts, and we're limited in what we're labeling, because whatever it is that we're feeling about ourselves and whatever we say that we are, it's so much more. So to me, it's like, get out of the way and let's do some more healing, because there's always more of, I like to say, cleaning out the closet. Like when we clean out a cluttered closet, we know that when we go to tackle that closet, it's full of debris, and it could be really full, and the light can't get through. We start to go in there and go through the boxes, take them out one at a time, or we might come across an old sweater that has a personality to it. Maybe grandma gave you that sweater and she has transitioned to the other side, and it has a deep meaning to it. So there's those things are going to be in our bodies, those harder emotions, the ones that we've been hanging on to. Just like that closet, there's going to be memories, and once you start digging in it and taking a box and you open it, all of a sudden there's memories in it. If we sit there and focus on that box and all the old memories in the past, and just and how it makes us feel sad and alone or anything like that, once we start digging into those emotions and we start to personalize it, then that's where we get stuck. We get stuck in those emotions, and then we just kind of shove them back down or put the box back into the closet and never deal with it. So the vibrational healing is to make space in that closet, is to take that box, respect it, honor it, appreciate it, and let it go. That frequency that we're hanging on to, that vibration. So when I make the vibration, I do the gaze, it's helping to kind of just clear that closet out, clean that closet, so that more light can shine inside. And once the more light that can shine inside, then that's it. We're opening ourselves up. And the biggest thing that I use is vibration in the spiritual heart. And we've gone through a lot of talk about spiritual heart through the previous podcast. So it's it's we're going to go deeper into what it is we're actually looking to do here, and getting a deeper understanding. Like we are made of vibration, frequency, and vibration. So everything's in there. Everything that we are feeling, it's ready to harmonize. There, if we're feeling sadness, sadness is just not who we are. Its sadness comes up when we're looking to harmonize it. It's looking to be harmonized, brought into the light, but we're not allowing ourselves to fulfill that purpose. We're not allowing the frequency to release completely. We're ashamed of being sad. We're ashamed of crying in front of people. we don't want to feel it. It doesn't feel good, so we shove it back down and we try not to cry, or we label it, I'm sad, I'm sad, there's something wrong with me, and then we just keep making it ours. And so it just keeps recycling that vibration. So the process of healing has a lot to do with being introduced to the right vibration, positive vibrations, and then allowing those emotions to be vulnerable and come up and speak. Let them say what they need to say. Let them speak and breathe, but not personalize them. Watch them like clouds passing through the sky. They don't feel good because the heart knows it's not the truth. It's not the truth. It's not the truth. If it makes us not feel well, that means we're labeling it not good. The only reason something is bad is because we're labeling it bad. If we can see the light in it, then we can help transmute those energies faster. And I know it's a process, trust me, because I went through this process of this vibrational healing, and it's intense. And I put myself through the intense version of it, and I also put Sergio here through the intense version, or actually he put himself through it. I invited him. I can't make anybody do anything. But this is a lot about the vibration that's being made in like my meditation videos. That's where it's coming from. It's coming from a really sacred place. It's hard to explain that in a meditation. So I just build a meditation around the vibration, and hopefully the meditation draws people in, and hopefully they get the frequency. And hopefully, more gets out here, because I do believe the future is going to be through frequency and vibration. I do believe that's going to help us move into this new conscious earth that we're moving into, this new reality that many of us are going to cross that bridge soon. And I think it's happening now. So anyways, I've said a lot. I don't know how far I got off track from what we were
No,
talking about.
it's all right. I mean, I can only say from my own experience that when I started to meditate with Malani in that basement, I would have these emotions just come up, and I would primal scream sometimes. Sometimes I would cry, like these really deep cries. Sometimes like anger would come up, and I would just like feel all this anger and just and sometimes like this annoyance would come up, and all this just annoyance would come up, and I would start to purge these like lower frequency emotions. But what was beautiful about it is when I harmonized it, it was like this beautiful transformation that would happen, and it changed my reality. I would start to change my reality, and then I was able to access these deeper realities just from harmonizing those emotions. And I always talked about it. It would, these subtler realities, I was able to access them more, and these subtle realities became like accessible to me by these harmonization techniques and stuff like that. But the process of it looked a little crazy when it was happening. But I can tell you that it was like beautiful, that transformation when it happened, and it really changed my life. And like, I'm so grateful to be able to had those experiences, and it's only growing day by day. But I would say the number two, the two main things that really helped me, that was perseverance. Like I would just go down there, even if I didn't want to go down there and meditate. I would just go down there, and the perseverance and really just devotion of going deeper into meditation. Those two things really propelled me in such a way. And honestly, I've seen hundreds of miracles, hundreds of people transform from the lowest vibration you can imagine, almost a suicidal vibration, to a heaven vibration. I've seen people go from those states. I've seen people heal spontaneously, like things from their past, in seconds, in moments. These marvelous transformations that would happen. Just yeah, remarkable stuff. And we can go deeper into these things, but I've seen so many. I'm just like, I don't even know which one to talk
Where to
about.
start, where to start. And the thing is, it's You had more because the thing is, a lot of people take on a spiritual path. They jump from a spiritual thing to another thing to event to event to event. And when they're getting excited about the event that they're going to, they get all excited and then it's over. And then they might keep it up for a week or two, maybe a month, maybe. But the thing is to take one thing and ride it all the way to the sun. It's not about jumping to each ray of light and try to grab them all. You only need one, but we get impatient about riding a single thread all the way there. We get impatient. We think we should be further along by now. And the thing is, we're perfect. Where we are right now is absolute perfect. Where you are right now is absolutely perfect. There is no imperfect to you. You were built in love and light. There is no imperfect moment. The moment is absolute. So give yourself a break, understanding that you are exactly where you need to be, and trust that. And the one thing that you did have is you trusted too. You trusted because you saw the process unfold in me and you wanted to feel that. And so you trusted it. Now, a lot of people we're so much fear and doubt in the world that they don't really trust what they're getting themselves into or what they face. And if they don't get it right away, they're like, I'm done. Next thing, next thing. And nobody gives it a real trust and chance. And that's the one thing that one big thing that you had. You trusted and you wrote it, and you went in there and you held on to that ray and you said, I'm going to do this. And you get all the rewards of that perseverance, that willingness that you have. So, and we're not done with the process. And I'm not speaking here like I'm done. I'm enjoying the process still. I'm still vibrationally being elevated through this whole process. It's so fun. And in a few years, I'm going to be a totally different person because I am not letting go of this. It's infinite and it's eternal. There's no point B. There's only this moment. There's no place to be because point B doesn't exist. And we keep trying to put something there. We keep trying to put something ahead of us instead of just enjoying the moment, enjoying where we are, the perfection and imperfection, whatever it is. So just enjoy point A and forget about point B. Forget about the agendas. Forget about the checklist. Forget about the putting something up there like, I don't know. It's all just boulders in a river to me. If we let that divine river flow, then it'll take us where we need to go. But it's okay if we get sidetracked too. Forgive ourselves. Just be okay with where we're at. But my suggestion is like Sergio did, whatever you're doing, give it a real chance and trust it. See it all the way through, see it through. And stop saying like things like, I should be further along by now. Stop saying those things. Or it comes down to self-love. Everything comes down to self-love, and everybody can just nod their heads. Yeah, it comes down to self-love. But what does that mean, really? It means go deep with that. Go sit with that. I mean, the brain has hijacked the phrases of self-love. What I mean by hijacking, it's like people talk about the heart, and I'm talking about the spiritual heart, that infinite spiritual center, not the heart chakra right here. This is your foundation. This is so much bigger than the chakra system. It's our connection. Everybody thinks, when we go to the third eye, that's it, or the crown, that's it. This is it. This is a balance. And I understand this from the beginning. There's more information coming through my spiritual heart than any, and these are all like very tuned in. But this is the foundation. This is what's telling my story. This is what's feeding everything. This is where all that self-love comes in. And when I say like the brain hijacks phrases, I mean it says, we say, follow your heart. Now, the brain is hijacked because we're all like, yeah, follow your heart. No, follow your heart. Listen to this. The silence within, the beauty, the love, the self-love. What about like put your heart into it? Literally take your heart and expand it out and put it into it. Wrap your heart, the energetic heart, it's infinite. Wrap it around people. Let them feel it. Don't tell them what you're doing. Just add that energy. Because once you start to be able to use this spiritual heart, once you get used to breathing in it or doing all these exercises with it and start bringing life back to that heart, you'll learn how to use it and and share the love that it carries and the wisdom that it carries. What else is another hard thing? I mean, the brain hijacks it, and we all know the phrases, but nobody's living them. You know,
Yeah, I mean, well, live from your heart. The heart is where the home is.
heart
Uh,
is where the home is. That's true. This is your connection to home.
Yeah, no, it's true. And I mean, also like what I've noticed about the heart too is like it really is infinite. And like you think that you've touched your heart and there's way more and it goes way deeper. Like it is truly infinite. And one of the things that I noticed that the once where I've noticed that actually is we were doing a group healing once after this big event that we did, and there was everybody was primed for an experience really in this room. And Malani sat in front of this girl, and this frequency came in the room. The only way I can really describe it was like the heaven realm came in the room. It was literally like the heaven came into the room, and everybody in that room felt that heaven frequency, and there was so much love and just like heart coherence in the room that everybody broke into this joy that is unexplainable. It's like a joy I've never felt before. It's not like a joy that you're just like feeling happy. It was like a divine heavenly joy. And everybody got to feel that, and it expanded us into such a high state of being that it was like we were in heaven, in earth, and everybody felt that. And that's when I really started to really understand that the heart is infinite and the heart can connect you to all those higher realms. But we think it's the third eye and the crown and, having all this kundalini go up and, but it's really where the heart can get you there on a really deep level. Such an amazing experience, really.
That was a good, I mean, yeah, I remember that experience. It was after a meditation event that we went to, and I was kind of like working with a lot of people in that event. It's like just they were just popping in and out, and I nobody knew who I was. And like, can you help me? And I'm like, yeah, I guess I can. So we decided that we were going to do a group thing, and one of the girls had cancer, and so I was going to do a one-on-one with her, and I just sat across from her, and we did a divine gaze, and the energy came in strong, powerful, and everybody in the room was feeling it, and I had been talking about the heart to all of them for a while, and they're all of course saying, yeah, of course, the heart, spiritual heart, yeah, of course, of course, of course, like a lot of people are going to do. Yeah, the spiritual heart is powerful. Yeah, yeah, it's good. And then so they all had that same thing, that same conversation that we've heard 1,000 times about the spiritual heart. It's we don't really know until we're experiencing it in that kind of level. And then when that frequency come in, one of the people in the guy and one of the guys in there was like, "What is going on?" And he was just like, "I don't even understand." And he was just blown away. And then there was a girl on the other side of me, and I'm just trying to hold the focus of the healing. And then the girl on my back right, she's like, "What is this?" And I said, "This is the heart." And she's like, "This is the heart?" And it's like, I thought it was heaven. The heart is heaven. If you're experiencing the heart in the full capacity, you're experiencing states of heaven, massive divinity, equanimity, foundational boom. That's it. This is where you want to live. Seriously.
Yeah.
And there's few ways to open that up because we've been in mind consciousness so much that we have to start directing our energy because where we pay attention to is what where our energy goes. So instead of looking at our phone and putting ourselves in mind consciousness, we got to start pulling our energy down to here and just start giving it little thoughts. And every now and then, just start saying, I love you. And there's all these practices that I share that I'll be sharing more when I do my first retreat on January 1st. It's an online retreat, but I'll be sharing these things. And but yeah, that was a magical moment. And these things are happening to me. It's not like I trust what happens through me. And so I listen to what happens through me. And I live by what happens to me. Now, it's not like I'm some kind of a channeler and I channel it and then I come out of a trance and then I don't live it. I understand that it's something very beautiful and I immediately grab onto everything that I'm feeling, and I had the intuition has just gone off the charts, and the be able to read frequency in people, not thoughts. I'm not interested in people's thoughts because that is the veil. I'm talking about the deep states, the deep vibrational blockages, the roots that can go straight to it, bypass all the noise, and go straight to it and feel it. And that's a really magical thing for me to be able to read that, and I can read it in myself. I can feel where when I'm out of alignment, and immediately make corrections to it, and just live these truths. And there's nothing here that's dangerous. We're talking about the heart. We're talking about vibration, and we're talking about living consciously. We're talking about paying attention to high thoughts. A lot of things that we like to do is talk about our deficits. And when we start talking about our past and things that are wrong and why the reasons we feel the way we feel, and then we have to go back and we have to go straighten it out in our past, and it's all irrelevant. If you're hurting now. So just address the frequency now. You don't need to go anywhere. It's still active. Just activate the light in it. Activate the truth in it now. That's all we need to do. And there's a lot of processes that we can do, but there shouldn't be difficult. It should be very simple because the divine is simple and the heart is simple. You're in the heart because it becomes silent, and there's not a lot of words that need to be said. In this podcast, there's a lot of words that need to be said because it's a podcast. But the mind is loud. It's trying to prove. It has proving energy. I know what he's talking about. I know what he's saying. Oh, yeah, I mean, I've done all this, whatever, but really, I'm talking about just open yourself up to more. It doesn't matter where you're at. There's more. What if there was more? What if there was more to what you are experiencing now, even if you are in a high state? Because there is. So let go of the I knows, and then you'll experience more and open yourself up to more. It's just that's what I do. I'm always doing that. I mean, I don't know anything. I don't know anything. I speak from a state to which I'm at, and it's like I'm soaking in a tub talking about the bath I'm in. It's a miraculous place to live, and I'm just talking about how beautiful it is to live here, and it usually resonates with somebody, and they want to know about it. But that's what happens. But I get up every day and I make offerings to appreciate everything that's being given through me and to me, and I am just every day I make those offerings, and I appreciate the divinity that comes through me. I mean, it's not the small me speaking. It's not the ego. I mean, I'm sure the ego gets in there many times. I mean, how could it not? We're still in the body, but I do my best to weave it out.
Yeah, no, I mean it's really remarkable. I mean, I'm so blessed because Milani's like my best friend. He's like my mentor. He's like my best friend, and I've been able to really reach these like phenomenal states. I mean, like this is like I can't even express the states that I've been able to access through Malani and just through these practices that we've done. it's such a massive blessing. I've witnessed hundreds of miracles at this point, and I have so much trust in that. And you know, I've grown so much tremendously just from doing these practices, honestly. But I mean, and they're simple. It's just like, you know, focusing in on your heart, going deeper in your heart, having perseverance in your meditations, you know, having a daily meditation practice, you know, and not identifying with things that come up. You know, when emotions come up, don't identify with it, but feel it. And it's tremendous what happens when you do that. When you don't just like make it yours. When you're feeling sad and you don't make it yours, but you just feel that sadness and let it run through you, it's tremendous what happens after that, because there's this beautiful state that comes right after that. And the same thing goes for not identifying with your thoughts when they come through, and not identifying with your feelings when they come through. But if you can just feel them as they're coming up and not making them yours, it's a beautiful state to be in. It really is a beautiful state to be in. And it takes practice to do that, because we're so conditioned to really identify with those emotions. What's that?
Condition to pay attention to the deficit.
Yeah. Yeah,
Where
it's like we're so conditioned to pay attention to the deficit. But that's not the reality of who we are. The reality of who we are is these divine beings from created from the highest source. And when you identify with that and then those emotions come through, then those emotions are nothing. They're just emotions.
well, the
Right?
since we get a little we get a little afraid when they start to come in, and you might not think so, but if it doesn't feel good, it's from the level of fear and doubt. It's from the frequency. So we get a little afraid when they come through. You know, we don't want to feel them, and we get a little scared, like, oh, I'm feeling emotion. Like, let me panic here. Let me try to like stop whatever anybody is doing to me, because or you lash out or cry or protect myself with emotion. We're think we're protecting ourselves with our emotion. It's like we don't want to feel them. So but when we feel through them and we observe them as a message only from the mind, it's not true. It's not in alignment. If we just observe, you might feel disconnected for a moment, to really lean into the active emotions. Don't go back looking for them. Don't go, I felt this morning, and let me go back and bring it back up. Not necessary. Not necessary. You got to just keep paying attention to the light until you move to the sun. So the thing is, if you're paying attention to it, you might feel disconnected from the divine for a moment as you feel as the emotions being processed. But when the emotion is processed, if you allow it to breathe and let out to come to set at the table, let your sadness sit at the table with your joy, does it come into your light? It's like we're stuffing this child down in the basement. We're stuffing this child down in the basement. We never let it speak, and it just builds in anger, and it builds in all these other emotions. It's suppressed, and it just gets more desperate to speak until we boil over, until it just can't take it anymore. And then it usually happens in public, and we get embarrassed about it, and then we feel shame about it, and makes it even worse. So if we get ourselves in a controlled atmosphere and we allow these vibrations and these certain things to happen, and allow the emotion to be shook up a little bit in our own terms, to where we know that we're going to observe it and put the light in it. We're going to observe it and lean into it. Just be there with it. That's what it just wants you. It just wants to be. Let it be heard. Let it speak. Let yourself cry. Let yourself scream. Let yourself just shake. Whatever it's ready to say, and let it just tell the whole table. Tell your whole body, because it is you. It's not separate from you. It's not like we're taking it and sending it off somewhere else. It is you. It just needs to be lit up. It thinks it's fighting for you. This emotion thinks it's protecting you. For whatever reason, it sounds ridiculous, but it thinks it's protecting you, or something. It's a false belief that it has, and nobody's ever allowed it to speak and give it the truth. Like, we're okay. You don't have to protect me anymore. Come sit at the table with my joy. Because we don't want to get rid of something that's been fighting for us, that doesn't know any better, that's never been told the truth. So what we want to do is we want to start cleaning these emotions, cleaning out the closet, bringing it all into light and loving these emotions and loving all the pieces of us. So that's the thing, is when we can love all the pieces of us, when we can love our sadness, love our anxiety, love our fear, love our anger, and just start putting that light into it, then we're allowing it to all speak. And then we allow, and once everything starts to be loved, all the pieces start to be loved, that's when self-love comes in. And there's lots of ways to love it, and that's through the heart and through vibration. And there's processes, meditation and divine gaze, or whatever it is, whatever it takes. There's a lot of processes that I carry, and it's hard to hang on to them all at first. But if you give yourself some willingness and challenge yourself to do this and really wake up every day and say, I'm ready. I'm ready to feel better. I'm ready to feel better. I am ready to feel better. And knowing it is only your choice whether you are going to feel better or not. Things could be happening around you, but why are they happening around you? What are you vibrationally matching to? How am I looking at it? There are people that are in the worst conditions that are happy as clams. I don't know if a clam's happy, but some reason that just rolled out. But the long time ago when I worked at Whole Foods, I was sitting in front of a buffet that we had just put out, and it looked really amazing. And one lady came up on my left hand side. She said how awful everything looked. She was just complaining about everything. And I was like, what? What are you looking at? You know? And then, I mean, we were all good cooks there. We're really solid cooks, you know? And then another lady came up to on my right, looking at the same buffet, all three of us. And she was just admiring how great this buffet looked. It was just, everything was just beautiful. And she's like, oh man, I wish I didn't eat because I didn't really want to eat this. I'm going to get some anyways. And so, anyways, there was one lady in hell and one lady in heaven, and we were all looking at the same buffet. We're all looking at the same thing, and one's in heaven and one's in hell. Why is that? Because it's perception. How we look at our environment, how we look at things around us is what's going to create the reality. That's the facts. So we are creating our own reality. And in order for us to harmonize and become healed, we have to start looking at things in a different way. We can't keep paying attention to the deficit. This protecting ourselves is another big thing that we do. We feel like we have to energetically protect ourselves from all the evil and bad. But it's not that protecting ourselves is bad, it's how we're protecting ourselves. If we're protecting ourselves because we don't want to be harmed, we are actually triggering fear, because you have to be afraid of something in order to protect yourself so that you're not harmed. So that triggers fear. But if you start putting light around yourself, if you start putting the light around you because you love the way it feels, and you love to put a bubble of light around you, and just loves to be basking in your own light, that is protection and love. You know, it's a whole different perception. So if you're doing things to protect yourself because most people are afraid of getting some kind of cooties from somebody or something, so we protect ourselves. That's fear. So you're basically protecting yourself with fear, and you're protecting your fear with fear. So you're holding yourself in some sort of fear. So my process is we got to build ourselves up in that light and stop paying attention to the deficit. Pay attention to what we're ready to feel. I say, I'm ready to feel better, and start walking ourselves into the high states of being. Because to me, one time somebody asked me, I typed the word God in a text, and they say, who do you mean by God? What do you mean by God? And I go, that's a good question, because I keep all the walls down, you know. I mean, I do my best to keep the walls, everything, all the separation with all that. You know, Buddha, Krishna, Jesus, all of them, they're all invited here. They all showed up, you know. And so what I mean by God is my highest thought about myself. Because if I worship God in me, I'm worshiping the highest form of God because God is in within everybody. And I often tell people, you for your biggest prayer, love yourself. If you really want to get the best prayer through, love yourself. If you really want to worship God in the biggest way, or the divine in the biggest way, love yourself. That's it. Because you're loving God through you, and you're going to experience things that are well beyond what we possibly thought we could. We can go to a temple and still have those fun things and enjoy the putting a prayer hands down and saying something nice. We can enjoy those things, but the most powerful thing our communication with God would be to love ourselves, and that is right here. That spiritual heart can begin to awaken that, and that message comes through strongly.
Wow. Yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautifully said. So, all right. So let's talk a little bit about kind of like maybe I'll ask you some questions about maybe how you started on all this. That sound good, Milani?
Okay.
So, like, where did your journey begin with this whole spiritual journey, would you say?
At 13, my mom went to a seminar. I was already like a little I mean, and the older I get, I realize I didn't know what was happening to me as a young age. But the older I get, and the more connected I get, or the more like I'm understanding things a little bit more, the more I knew that there was really special things happening to me as a kid. But my mom had went with my stepfather to a meditation thing, and in Texas, that was not really. Nobody really knew what it was back then. It was a long time ago, um, 40 years ago. So um, they introduced me to meditation. They made me go into the room and meditate with my three other brothers. We all had to go into a place and meditate. And really, they said they were kind of helping us out, but they really just needed the quiet. They needed Saul's voice to chill out so they can meditate. And so I was the only one that really did it, out of my three other brothers, and
Your
so
brothers just pretend like they were
I
meditating?
just went in there and just did what they did, but I took it seriously. And then as I kept doing it, my mom was kept doing it, and she would meditate in her closet. And then she had this experience where she saw a bright light in her, and she was in a dark closet. And she said it was so bright I had to squint, even though her eyes were closed. And I was like, wow, I want to see that. I'm going to keep going until I see that. And then I did. I kept going until I saw that. And then I kept going further. I go, this is a miraculous. I'm going to keep going further and further and further until I knew all the light was coming out of me. Until I knew I was the light. And then I became the light. And then, all these things start unfurling as we go through these spiritual processes, and all kinds of activity started happening, even fuller, more obvious things. And so one thing led to another, and I just kept going and kept going. And I mean, I can go in through my whole life, but that would take forever because there were so many big things that happened, so many miracles throughout my life. And
Yeah.
just how I'm ended up here is one big miracle.
But when you started do meditation, that's when you really were like, there's something to this.
Yeah, I mean, I knew that it was because none of them meditate anymore. I knew today, like that happened because of where I am today. That happened. I needed to be introduced to it, and because I mean, I'm in Texas. And there's nothing wrong with Texas. I love Texas, but I'm just saying, like we at that time in Texas, it was very Bible Belt, and I didn't know all these things existed, and I didn't even know what meditation was, and it was never introduced to me. And I know in Texas I know a lot of people in Texas now that there's big meditation places and stuff like that because I was doing it there, and there's so it's spreading. It's not so limited like it was back then. But
Yeah,
anyways, it was meditation that really started kicking things off for me. But it actually it was more than meditation. It was my willingness and perseverance.
of
Because
course.
if I did it once a week, it would be not as good as doing you're better off doing 10 minutes a day versus 1 hour a week. because that builds momentum, and I was willing to build that momentum, and I was driven. I was driven by what my mother told me, and I was driven like I'm going to experience that. You know, some people they're brilliant in sports, and they're just locked in, and they get these really fit bodies and stuff. I had a whole different kind of willingness. I had a strong willingness for the divine. I mean, I had a really strong pull for it, and I don't let up. And I just keep going. And I keep going no matter where I am. I don't stop thinking about it. It's
Yeah.
like I wake up with it and I go to bed with it. I dream of it. So I have that. That's really my why things are very special in my life is my willingness. My willingness, because there's a line when you cross it, there's no going back, you know. And so
Yeah, well, I mean, it's something that I really admire about you is your willingness and your dedication that you have for these practices, and and I mean it's I admire it. I really admire it, and I want to share a little bit about how I kind of got back, how I got started in this as well. I met Milani maybe about 11 years ago, and at the time I was really in the dumps. I was really in a low place when I met him, and even when he first met me, he was like, "What is up with this guy?" But we connected on these on a deeper level when we started talking about spirituality and all the books that we read, and like the first book I really got me was like Conversation with God, and he loved that book, and we started talking about all these spiritual books that we both were interested in. And I remember at the time I was really in the dumps, and he was like, "Hey, why don't you do like a meditation practice? Why don't you do 30 days straight of meditation?" So I was like, "All right, I'm gonna give it a try." So I would wake up in the morning and I would do my 30 minutes a day, and I would do it every day. And I remember when I got to the 30th day, I just like persevered. I'm gonna do it no matter what. I remember I got this really high divine thought, like this high vibrational thought. It's the only way I can describe it. It was like a divine thought came through, and it went right past my analytical mind, right into my subconscious mind, like really deep into me. And it said, "You can meditate the rest of your life and never miss a day." And that thought was so powerful, such a divine thought that it's been 11 years now and I haven't missed a day. I just do it every day. And because I feel so amazing after I meditate, I was like, why would I ever stop meditating? You know?
right, and it's like turning a key to an old engine, you know, and all of a sudden that engine turns up. And once the engine turns over, once you persevere and challenge yourself to get that engine turned over, you experience something so powerful that you won't look back. It won't go anywhere. It's like, why would you stop? The have tos. I have to meditate today. Those turns into excited about meditation. Like why would I ever miss it? Why would I ever want to? Why would I, to me, I was in my meditation room for hours and hours and hours in a day because I was just so, I even when I worked all the time, big jobs where I had to put in a lot of hours, I would make sure I got it in. I'd get up at 3 a.m. Remember, I was getting up at 3 a.m. and
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know,
And then you know what? When I met you, what really dinged for me too, when I met you, I asked you, "Hey, what'd you do yesterday?" And you're like, "Oh, I meditated for 3 hours." And I was like, "What? You meditate for 3 hours?" And you're like, "Do you do that all the time?" You're like, "Yeah, I do it every day." And I was like, "You meditate for 3 hours every day?" I was like, "What? This is crazy." And that's what really sparked my interest. I was like, "Wow, there's something's going on here." Because I mean, if you meditate for 3 hours, maybe some people do it once in their life or a couple times, but if you're doing it like every day, that's like a big, big practice. So I was like, "Wow, 3 hours."
I was driven to get myself every day to dissolve,
Dissolve.
dissolve, where the body just dissolves.
Yeah.
I remember my first time of dissolving in my 20s. Yeah, it was like my young 20s, and then um I dissolved and I became just like I felt like a jar of water, like if you scoop up water, put a lid on it, and you drop it in the ocean. I felt like I was sitting in that water, and that water became separated with that jar. That's how I felt back. It's like it starts to change color because it's been in there so long. It starts to whatever. I felt like that jar broke, and that water just went
Yeah.
out. And it just became, I know you've had this experience before because it becomes an experience in meditation, but that was like my first time. And then I remember being one with everything in the toilet, and it was just amazing. The bacteria, everything about the toilet was just me. It was the most beautiful, comical thing. And I remember laughing in my meditation, like, this is out of this world. Why would I ever quit this? So I focused forever, just like, I
Be-
don't, I'm,
Become one with the toilet.
I
You,
come,
you did it.
well,
One with the toilet.
there's a toilet on my shrine. Oh, not really. I'm just kidding. There's no toilet on my shrine.
No, that's hilarious. Well, yeah, I mean, it's beautiful. I mean, it's beautiful those experiences, you know.
Yeah.
They definitely when you have a massive experience like that, you definitely like are like, okay, I'm gonna keep going. And it's almost like a divine gift you get when you have a massive experience to keep so that you keep going, you know. But then there's the parts where things start to come up. Things
Yeah.
start to come up in meditation, and
Yeah.
that's the part that people have a hard time with.
People have a hard time with comparing meditations. You did that one time. You said something to me. I go, "How was your meditation today?" "Ah, it wasn't good as yesterday because you told me yesterday your meditation was really good." I go, "Well, what's the point of meditating if you're just going to put the bad energy to it? Why can't you just appreciate that you sat?" There's many people don't just sit down and meditate. You did it. You persevered. You challenged yourself, and you overcame. Why can't you see the good in it? Why can't you love yourself exactly where you are? Just appreciate the meditation, and then you'll get more out of it now.
Yeah,
You'll get more out of it now by appreciating what you did.
yeah. I mean, that for me, that was a really massive shift. Doing just being in meditation, just doing the meditation, regardless if you're fighting with your mind or emotions are coming up or you're having a bad meditation. It doesn't matter. It's that perseverance and that willingness that you put into it is even more important because every if you do it every day, you're just catching where you were and just
Mhm.
keep going at it, you know.
It just
Um, but
builds.
that really shifted for me. That when I got when you mentioned that to me, that did really shifted my practice.
Well, I wish we can sit here forever and talk about experiences, but I do want to introduce things to people, and there's lots of content out there, but whatever you find, just do it fully. Just do it fully and love yourself. Just dive in deep.
So for me, throughout this whole process and the gazing and the vibration and divine manifestations that happen and the heart coherence, it's been a massive blessing for me, a massive blessing for me. And it's unlocked these beautiful aspects of myself. And I've developed just so much from it. And it's a massive blessing.
Well, it's been a massive blessing for me because I got to transform much with it too. So I just an allowance of letting it happen through me and to me and listening to the wisdom that comes through the heart and following that wisdom and sharing it the best I can. So hopefully it gets to people and hopefully they trust that they ended up here in.
I really appreciate talking about these spiritual aspects on a deep level. And there's going to be way more that we talk about. And we only really like scratch the surface on stuff, honestly, in this podcast. And it goes a lot deeper. Did you want to talk a little bit maybe about your website or anybody wanted to do one-on-ones with you or the 45 day or anything like that?
if anybody wants to join in, we're gonna take all these practices that I've been introducing to people, and we're gonna try to bundle it into um, an online retreat and give everybody guidelines every day for 45 days. We're doing it on the new year because people are more eager to change their lives for some reason on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day. So we're going to do it then, and we're going to transition the emotional bodies into the light bodies. Well, we're going to get it closer to the light body anyway. So that it depends on your willingness. How much you put into it every day will tell the story. If you get up every day and say, well, I have to get up and get in my heart. Or if you get up and say, I'm excited about getting in my heart. Oh, I got to meditate today. Oh, I got to do this. I got to do this. Put it on your checklist. So the thing is, most of us put spirituality on our checklist. We put meditation on our checklist. That should have nothing to do with the checklist. Spirituality should be the fun part because it's the most important part, because without it, we're not going to get connected to our divinity, to our gifts, our spiritual gifts, enhancing them. Without spirituality, we did not find that self-love. And that self-love is the most important thing that we can offer every day. Because whatever we're offering, our state of being, is what we're receiving back. So take this offering that we're going to make on January 1st and take it seriously, and be excited about the practices that are going to be had. We're going to have meetings every week, all checking in with each other. And everything's about bringing more light into our closet. So that's hasn't been posted on my website yet. We're still building it. We have not built this before. This will be the first time, and we're just kind of playing with it right now and seeing what we can do with it. And we'll be introducing it soon and start taking people in, probably close to December 1st or something like that. I'm not real sure, but just keep looking for it. And also on my YouTube channel, I have all my meditations, MalaniMeditation.com, where you found this podcast. You can, now that you know about the vibration, what you're listening to, you might actually feel it more because your intention and your understanding, like what is actually happening. So when you understand something, it begins to really bring awareness to, oh, I'm receiving something special. So anyways, that's it. Unless you have something else you want to share.
Yeah. Also, do you do one-on-ones, right?
I do one-on-ones, yes.
Okay, so
And
I encourage anybody that feels any inclination to do a one-on-one with Malani. They are so powerful, and it's like something that you will not experience with anybody else. So I think you can do it through MalaniMeditation.com, and there's a way to do a one-on-one on there where you just put in your info and what day you want to do it, and you can have a one-on-one with Malani. I'm telling you, they are so powerful, and like it's amazing. I really encourage anybody to do that, to do it.
if you trust that the divine is guiding you, then you did not end up here by accident. You are being pushed to this moment alone. You are being guided. You are surrounded by your divine beings holding you in this space because you are guided. We're all guided. There's no imperfect moment. For whatever reason, you're sitting across from this, so trust it and allow it to the energy to unfold.
Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you. So leave me some comments, leave me some feedback, and tell me how you feel. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks, I guess. Thank you, everybody, for showing up today. If today's podcast touched your heart or helped you out in any way, please like and subscribe and share the light. You can explore more at MalaniMeditation.com. Thank you. Namaste.